the spear. A round table turned battleground for truth and revelation. Talking battles in the mind and storms across the nation. Global fires burning bright and issues close to home. They built a place for every vet who ever felt alone. More souls gather round, adding color, depth, and change. A family forged in honesty, different paths, same range. Every story shared becomes a torch in the night. Every voice together makes the darkness take flight. We are the tip of the spear, cutting through the doubt and the fear. Voices rising loud and clear for the brothers and the sisters who ain't always heard. Yeah, we stand on the front line here. The tip of the spear. For every soldier holding on, for every vet still fighting strong. This is your place, your battle song. You belong, you belong. For the ones who served and bled, for the thoughts too long unsaid. Now the truth breaks through instead. We are the tip of the spear, cutting through the doubt and the fear. Standing tall year after year for the ones who carry burdens that the world can't see. We are, because the mission's clear. We are the tip of the spear. The spark became a fire. Now the fire's burning here. Together we will far. The tip of the spear.
Welcome everybody to July's edition of Tip of the Spears. How is everybody doing? Gunny, how are you, sir?
Good, man. Man, it's been 2 months since I've been on. Last month I was traveling. Wow, we got some feedback somewhere, huh?
Yeah, major echo.
Yeah. Last month I was traveling to Europe. Still there.
Yeah, it's still there. I don't know where the echo's coming from. Travis, can you hear echo?
Nope.
Ty, you can? Tim, can you?
I just muted myself just to check if it was me. Just go again.
Okay.
Gunny?
Yeah. So last month I was traveling to Europe. Did a whole bunch of traveling around to a lot of the American cemeteries over there, and spent a lot of time in the Normandy region. A couple days in Germany with the wife, where her family came from, and then this past month, you and I took off to Nashville for the America 250 with Challenge America. And then, dude, yesterday I spent all day elbows deep in bourbon. We are fine. We bottled this year's Mogadishu Mile bourbon. So 500 bottles. We'll be hitting the shelves very soon at J. Mattingly. Beautiful bottle this year. I brought in 5 guys from 214 that was attached to 10th Mountain during the Battle of Mogadishu. So those guys came in back in March. We did the blend. They picked their bottle. They picked their wax. So yeah, I'm super stoked about this year's bottle. It's our 5th bottle with J. Mattingly. And of course, the proceeds from those bottles will go to the Three Rangers Foundation and Blue Skies. But yes, super excited.
Heck yeah. Mr. Tim Thomas, how are you, sir?
Great to be here, Willis, and good to be here with you, fine man.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're back. I know you took a little hiatus there for a little while, but we're glad you're back. Mr. Ty Cobb, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to hear about the Challenge America thing. You know, we've been doing our thing with the TTV Live Foundation and then the Triple Threat Bet podcast every Thursday at 7 p.m. It's just been doing the same thing every week, trying to take over the world.
Heck yeah. Mr. Travis, how are you, sir?
Figure out why one drone connects and another drone doesn't. So I've got two drones. One of them works great, firmware updated. The other one will not recognize my cell phone, so it's a brick right now. The squadron is down.
Oh no, that's no bueno. You've had some exciting news here recently. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So 10 years ago, on July 16th, I recorded my first episode of Oscar Mike Radio, and it came out on July 22nd. And then July 17th, I, recorded my 500th show. So I'm over 10 years old now and still going strong. Thank you.
Heck yeah.
What about that citation you just got?
Oh, that. Yeah, that was a surprise. They got me really good. They had to really work hard to make that happen. So the Commonwealth of Massachusetts got word of what I was doing. They vetted me through their system, and I was given a citation for Oscar Mike Radio and the work I've done in the veteran community. It was really a special moment.
Nice.
Yeah, you're a rock star. Like I told you via text message, and then made it Facebook official. You are a rock star, dude. One of these days, I want to be just like you when I grow up.
Well, I'm still learning. I mean, I still don't know it all, and I still think there's definitely room for all of us. I mean, we're seeing what's going on with the VFW and the American Legion and the Richard Starr Act, and I think our voices are needed now more than ever. It's going to be people like us who are grassrooting it, telling our senators and elected officials, hey, this shouldn't even be part of the conversation than some big name. I really do believe that. So, it's good to be with you all.
Yeah. So right now, I think the veteran community is divided. Like some want it to pass, some want the Take Care of America's Veterans to pass, some don't. Me personally, I think there's too much fluff in there. And I think it's bull crap. So I don't think it should pass. But I think the Major Richard Starr Act, I think it should pass minus the way it was originally written, not how it's written now. So that's what I think. All right, Mr. Maurice, you're new. Welcome to the show. I think you're part of that SOS network.
Yes.
Tip of the spear first time. Do me a favor and introduce everybody.
Hey, so I'm Maurice Murphy. I'm located here in Jacksonville, Florida. almost 25-year veteran, Navy. And I host a podcast called That SOS, presenting Operation Startup, where we interview veterans who are transitioning into being an entrepreneur, and we discuss their transition, the ups, the downs, and just bringing positivity to those who want to go into the entrepreneurial field.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. So somebody said my mic keeps going in and out, so I'm gonna try to adjust it just a little bit here. But no, welcome to the show. I caught a couple of your episodes. Of course, we've had Sean on, and then of course we were on his podcast as well. And I love what he's doing with the Vet SOS network over there. I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
And you guys do amazing work over there. So I'm super excited to have you on. I was hoping Sean would show up tonight, but I don't know if he's busy or whatnot. So we'll catch him on the next one, I guess.
All right, I'll let him know.
Heck yeah. So anything exciting going on that you guys want to talk about? What about you, Tim, over there in Australia? You got anything veteran related going on over your pond?
More of a, I guess, personal experience. So the last decade, I've been helping veterans recover from physical and mental injuries. And breath work is a big part of that. It's one of the many tools, right? And a mate of mine said, hey, there's a veteran-run breathwork event And apparently it was quite big in the States. It was called Sky Resilience Breathing. And according to them, 20,000 US veterans have gone through this thing. It's been around for a long time. And they're rolling it out in Australia. Now, I actually got kicked off on day 2. They said, do not come back.
Too much energy for you?
Well, I could see that they were trying to make it work. They were well intentioned, but completely not open to suggestion. Like, we were in this room with flickering fluorescent lights, traffic noise. We're breathing each other's air. And after day, and normally I'm the first guy to go, hey, motherfuckers, you got to change this. But I'm like, no, dial it down, Tim. You're a student here. Don't think you know better than these people. But at the end of day 2, they said, can you give comment on, your experience of this course? And I'm like, okay, how do I say this in the way that I don't come across as the asshole in the room? And I'm like, okay, breath work is awesome. It makes you feel natural. And you kept on saying, come back to the room. And I have to indicate that this room has flickering lights. It has loud traffic noises. We're breathing each other's air. And several veterans, and myself included, said, in this building, there's an outdoor deck area. Can we go there? And they just kept on saying, no, we're going to run it in here. So they seemed to be very intent running it the way they wanted to intend it to be run. Right. And that's when I said, look, this just doesn't work. I don't think I'm going to turn up if this is going to be the way it is. And a lot of other veterans stuck their hand up too. And they spent the next, said, oh, can we talk to you? And then for the next half hour, they're saying, please come back, please come back, please come back. And I said, listen, I'll sleep on it. I did give my word to attending, so that's important to me. And I do want to see veterans get what they can from the breathwork space. But the way you're running it, it just shows how much stuff you don't know, right? Anyway, the next day I ask about how much work have you done in the veteran space to make this veteran centric? Did you just say this works somewhere else and we'll make it work here? And when I asked that question, I got the text back saying, pretty much, don't come back tomorrow. And that little bit at the end saying, text me that you've got this message and you're not coming. And I'm like, well, fuck you. Right.
Right.
And that got my sort of immature side out. I'm like, I'm going to freaking burn these guys. I'm like, no, it was actually a good opportunity for me just to sort of sit in my own overreaction and go, okay, what's the goal here? Is the goal me being right, or is the goal to actually serve the veteran community? So once I sort of got that sort of mature headspace in mind, I gave it a few days, and because I think some academics actually think, not all, but some academics I've come across are genuinely surprised when a veteran displays some rather, an IQ acumen that would match, potentially exceed theirs. They think, oh, you're dumb, but you can carry heavy things. And they get kind of shocked. So when I started asking these questions of their academia, they said, nah, you're not coming back. Completely, unaware of the impacts they were making from their own ignorance. You know what I mean? So yeah. We've all been on those courses where they're well-meaning kind of tree huggers, but they don't know the veteran language. They don't know how to translate what they know into the veteran space. And that's fine if you're open to taking feedback, because this is actually a research. They're doing research, right? And they kept on saying, oh, we've got to get to 50 participants so we can tick and flick this thing. And I'm like, you know what? If these guys get 50 people and they get the answers that they want, they're going to be untouchable. They're going to say, we don't have to change anything because we've got the research to back us up. Right.
Yeah.
So I've just, it's been a good journey for me, because in the past I would have just burned these motherfuckers. Right. But now I'm like, okay, let's find out who in the room has the goal of helping the veteran community, or who in the room has the goal of just defending their academic stance and defending their funding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just been my little mental loop the last little bit.
Well, that's crazy because you've been doing breath work for quite a while now, right? And then you go there and they're like, well, we don't want your feedback. We don't want you to tell us what we're doing is wrong. I mean, that happens quite frequently in the veteran space when you got a nonprofit that thinks that their model is working because they try to do that one-stop shop, like this fixes everybody, and that's not the case when it comes to, because Ty's issues are different than mine, Gunny's issues are different mine. Everybody on this panel has different issues. You can't fix it with doing one model. You have to be willing to adjust and adapt on the fly, because sometimes what works for Travis won't work for me.
Yeah, well, I think it can be quite a dangerous statement saying, I want to help others. Because done wrong, you can just say, well, here's something that works for me, and I'm going to imprint that on the world. And with my good intentions, that actually gives me more motivation, but it narrows your field of view. And the blessing I found working in the veteran space is those guys will tell you to fuck off in an instant. And that is so good. Because if you can actually have something that works with the person that tells you to fuck off in an instant, then there's, I've always said, if you can crack one veteran nut, you can crack 1,000 civilian nuts, and so that's that active listening and completely fluid on the approach. But the goal is to have that person met where they are and given what they need so they can actually move forward. And how you do that is a fluid statement. But if we get locked in to go, well, I want to help people and this is the only way, that's often what gets stuck. How can you tell me I'm doing it wrong? I'm trying to help people. It's helped me. It's helped my friends. It's got to work here. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, that's just not going to cut it. So yeah.
A lot of nonprofits out there, man, they start with a great model, right? And it works for, a year or two. And then as they get more people joining said organization and going through, whether it's equine therapy, whether it's fishing, whatever, and they get stuck in that rut, right? And then the model that they've had stops working. Well, they've been so used to doing that for so long that they don't want to change. And sometimes you have to adapt and move on and try new things to make it work. And it's so crazy.
Thanks for listening, guys. My little rant from down under.
No, you're good, brother. You're good. Ty, what's going on in your little corner of the world, veteran related wise?
Everything is perfect. Everybody's getting their best care. No, I'm just joking.
I was going to say, wait.
Where are you? I'm coming to you.
I'm in Houston, Texas, baby. Everything's perfect here. But first of all, shout out to Mr. Murphy for being from Jacksonville. For one, I grew up in at the beach there in Atlantic Beach. I went to Fletcher High School, so shout out Duval. I appreciate you being here. Yeah. No doubt. And then, but I mean, I'm going to be starting a peer support specialist class on the 2nd of August, and because I just want to help people. So that's what I'll be doing, and that's kind of what's coming up. We've got the regular guest and the regular monotony of everyday work and things like that. But the big thing I'm doing is hoping that being a peer support specialist can give me insight into some of the modalities of therapy that are being used and underutilized or overutilized, and maybe be able to, like Tim said, give perspective and experience to say, well, maybe you should ask your therapist for this, kind of rolling back into being a bit of a platoon sergeant. So I'm looking forward to that challenge, and that's what's next for me.
Nice. Now, you're like you said, you're in Texas. Isn't the celebrity softball game coming up soon?
Yep.
Out there in Texas?
Yeah. I'm not going to it this year. I'm not calling the game. I don't think Matt's going either. We've got some conflicting stuff, but yeah, the TVAA, the Texas Veterans Athletic Association, is doing some great stuff. They've got a Houston Police Department versus Houston Fire Department game coming up, and of course, as always, the celebrities versus veterans is a big draw for them. But yeah, TVAA and 300 Justice Road doing great stuff for veterans here in Houston.
Yeah, I think I seen Betsy Ross. She's the author of the Fight series. She's going to be at the celebrity softball game. I think she's actually participating on the veteran side of things. So
Very nice.
I was hoping to introduce you guys because I think have you read her books yet?
I read one of them for one about a year ago, it seems like, but
yeah.
I don't have it with me right now. So
yeah, so she's going to be there. I was going to introduce you guys personally through that way. So
I had a great meeting today with some of the Texas, like there's a big group of Texas veteran nonprofits that meet at City Hall in Houston, and they invited me to be on their Zoom. So there's like 30 or 40 people in a room just going around. Some will have equine therapy, some will have labor assistance, transportation assistance, and things like that. So all kinds of good stuff going on here that I got some flyers I'm going to be putting out on our website.
Heck yeah. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So we have something like that. It's called VRUC. I get the Zoom things all the time for that. And it's Veterans of Rural something. I can't remember, of Kentucky. But it's pretty neat to see all these veteran nonprofits, plus the KDVA, which is Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs. They're involved in it as well. And you got people from Eastern Kentucky there, Western Kentucky, that get involved with the VRUC. So I think that's pretty neat that you were able to do that. Travis, I don't think we got to talk about it on the last tip of the spear, but is there an update on the JJ story?
Oh, yeah, there is a small one. So he is still out. He's gotten his curfew extended. He's doing well. I emailed him the other day. He's, happy that he has more freedom. The prosecution is still pushing for him to take a plea deal. And now that more legal eyes are looking at it, it's like there's a reason why they want a plea deal. They want to shut this down before it goes to trial.
Yeah.
Even without all that, it's going to go to trial. He's been out of jail since April. 0 problems, compliant with treatment, doing what he's supposed to be doing. You're going to have a hard time as a prosecutor making this stick in November. So I'm going there next month to Vermont to meet with him and his sister, and then some of the people that are involved with this are also starting to get ready for the November trial date. And it's just unfortunate that you're going to put somebody like this through this. But I still go back to what he's told me. He's like, if I go through this and the veteran doesn't have to, well, then it was all worth it. And so it also just highlights the importance, as some of you all know, some of your states have veterans courts. Yeah. And this is a situation where if there's a veteran court for him, this would have been handled very, very differently, and it'd probably be a great story, but it's not. So more to come on this. He's in good spirits. He's just trying to wait for November. I mean, it's November, 3.5 months away. So he's just holding course.
Heck yeah. Welcome in, Gunny. How are you? You muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought I was muted and all the dogs were barking.
Well, welcome in. How are you?
Thank you. Good. How are you guys doing?
We are doing wonderful. All right. So, Maurice, what's going on veteran related down in your neck of the woods there in Jacksonville?
So I mean, there's been a lot going on here in Jacksonville, transition wise. That's what I'm pretty much a part of or involved in pretty heavily. Vets on Tap. I don't know if you guys heard of Vets on Tap. Still running pretty strong here. It's an opportunity for those transitioning to come out and meet potential employers, and then also have a beer at the same time, which is what I love about it. So they've been having 2 to 3 meetings a month. There's a Purple Heart event coming up here next month that I'm attending for the honorees of the Purple Heart. That's going to be at ViStar Arena. So there's a never a limited amount of events going on down here in Jacksonville, especially with 3 bases here locally. So absolutely can find anything veteran related here.
Yeah, there's a crap ton of bases down there. We went down, what was it, 2 years ago, and we visited our friend Al Hero with the Triple Threat Vets. He lives down in that area, and we went down. Of course, we went down for New Year's, but we also got to hang out with him while we were down there. And there are a crap ton of active duty members there, plus the veteran population that's there as well.
Yeah.
So it's super cool, but so with Jacksonville or Florida in general, they are. What's your take on how veteran friendly the state of Florida is compared, let's say, compared to like the Texas or Kentucky or Vermont?
I'm not really
Yeah.
familiar with Vermont or Kentucky, but it's definitely on par with Texas. We looked at moving to Texas, so I'm pretty familiar with some of their things that they have for veterans. Property taxes on 100% disabled. We don't pay property taxes. Free license. Free handicap DV if you got 100%. Schools for the kids, disability wise. I think it's still one of the main states that are allowing outside VSOs and attorneys and other companies to still help you get your disability. I heard it through the grapevine that California has now shut down the possibility for you to use an attorney or any type of company to try to pursue more disability. Has anyone heard about that?
I have not, but I'm going to look into it right now.
Yeah, I just had since I'm in real estate, I had a gentleman who just moved from California, and that was his big thing. He said, you couldn't go, you had to go directly through the VA. You can't go outside the VA anymore to help get your disability.
How can the state mandate that when the VA is federal?
I mean,
That's
California.
weird.
You know, California do what the hell they want to do out there.
Well, yeah, I get it. The only thing I can think of is unless the town that the veteran lives in has to offset some of the costs. But wow, I'm interested in
Oh,
all
it
about
says
that.
they banned the fees.
Yes, that's what I was reading too.
Yeah.
So this is what it says. It says California did not stop veterans from using outside
Okay.
help, but it banned uncredited private companies from charging fees to assist with federal disability claims.
Okay.
And then it's federal accreditation required, signed in February 2026. Senate Bill 694 prohibits any uncredited person or private company from soliciting, charging, or contracting fees to prepare or file VA benefits claims. Now, if that's the case, then I'm all for that,
Yeah.
because our benefits, we shouldn't have to pay somebody to help us get our benefits. So
True.
I would be okay with that if that was nationwide, if that happened nationwide, because that would probably put a lot of those
Out of
scam
business.
companies, a lot of those scam companies out of business.
Mm-hmm.
What was you
But
saying?
if I could dote on Jacksonville real quick, if you don't mind, Willis. Jacksonville's got 3 Navy bases right in the town. So basically, you got NES Jacks, you have Naval Air Station or Naval
Station
Mayport, and then Kings Bay. So a lot of the schools know how to treat veterans. When I was there, my father was a Marine Corps veteran. I enjoyed going to school there. It's a great town, man. Like, my wife and I are both from there. We met in high school there. So Jacksonville is an amazing town.
Yeah.
And it's got 1 million people too. I think it's like in the top 15 of biggest cities in America as far as population.
And not to mention some of the activity centers they got here. They still have Fort Blanding, or Camp Blanding, I should say. Blunt Island for the Marine Corps as well is there.
They got
And a few other
Coast
activities
Guard
are located
station
here
as
too,
well.
son.
Yeah, Gunny said they got the Coast Guard station, right? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
Yeah,
yeah, I forgot about
it's
that.
right
Yeah,
there
they
by
got that too.
Mayport. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So
Heck yeah. All right. So let's talk about something that's still going on. The whole thing that's going on with Iran still. Looks like Iran launched multiple missiles at American forces. That
Saw
was
that eye roll, Gunny.
all right. What's the
Yeah.
eye roll for, Gunny?
Dude, I mean, it's just gonna be a back and forth for the next 2-3 months, up to whatever, right? So we're gonna continue to talk about this every single month. There's gonna be a stoppage, and there's not gonna be a stoppage. There's gonna be strikes and counter strikes. It's the same stuff that's happened last month and before that. So, I mean, we can talk this thing until it's friggin' glue, right? The dead horse turns to glue, but it's the same thing, man. And if politicians actually served, it'd be a different story.
I would agree. But there are some politicians out there right now that have served, and which we talked about. I forget when we talked about it. The one that was saying that the VFW was terrorist.
I mean, you like I said, I met that guy before he ran for office. While he was running for office, lobbyists and money talks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I would agree. So
Ty
does
Cobb
any?
knows what I'm talking about. He's from his neck of the woods.
Yeah. You know who we're talking about, don't you, Ty? Oh, there we go. Somebody put it in there. Miss Lisa Mills, how are you?
You're muted, Ty. You're muted.
Oh yeah, I was thinking you were talking about Dan Crenshaw. Yeah, he's actually his parents live in my neighborhood, so he's usually the grand marshal of our 4th of July parade. Yeah.
Oh,
I've been trying to get him on the podcast, and I've been asking him questions like, "How the fuck do you keep going back on what you said and things like that?" But he won't come on.
yeah. If you're not for him, he ain't coming on, bro.
Yeah.
He's not going to come on. That's the problem with a lot of those higher people out there, right? Like the veterans that are in the political sphere. If you don't agree with their ideology, then they're not going to want to come on your show. I mean, because they don't want you to make them look bad. That's pretty much what's going on, and that's like kind of going back with the JJ Millett story. Here's a veteran that is getting, in my opinion, railroaded because somebody wants to make a name for themselves. When this goes to trial, and it's going to go to trial, all these veterans are going to stand up and be like, what the heck is going on here? I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on that. And Travis, thank you for the update on that, because I had been wondering what the update was going to be on that. So, all right, y'all are awful quiet.
Well, you didn't ask Sonia about what's going on in her space with the veterans. You skipped us. I mean, how could you just jump all over the place there, Willis?
I know I have. All right.
We both have stuff going on veteran related. Especially this coming week, next week. And I'm sure Sonia does too out there. Come on now, you got to friggin' include her in the conversation.
One job, Willis.
She's not just sitting there to listen. You run your
Here,
suck.
Here, you want to run the show, Gunny?
Damn it, Marine.
All right, Gunny down bottom. What's going on in the veteran space in your neck of the world?
Oh, so I've been still working on my group, my veteran group that I created. I have like a whole WhatsApp chat that has at least 70 people in it already. And I've kind of taken the lead for Southern California for a nonprofit called the Fallen Outdoors. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's kind of nationwide, yeah. And so right now I've just been hosting bonfires, hikes, and kayaking events. And I've been able to get the Fallen Outdoors to pay for that. So I actually have a bonfire planned for August 15th, which is in Oceanside, and I already have a good amount of RSVPs for that. I've also gotten in touch with. I've gone to like Wounded Warrior Project events. I've gone to some. There's also another nonprofit out here called Triple B Adventures. So they do a lot of outdoor stuff too, and I've gone to a few of their events and kind of planning some collaborations with them too.
Yeah.
So I do feel like there's a lot of things out here, like healing wise for veterans. Because you know, Southern California kind of has we have the more like holistic things, and but I have done some of the holistic stuff, and I feel like some of that stuff really does work, especially when it comes to like healing the nervous system, because really the nervous system is the biggest thing that needs to be healed in people in general, especially military members, because we have a lot of like hypervigilance and different things like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I should have asked you about the whole California thing because you're in Cali, so
yeah, I hadn't even heard about that, so that's why I didn't really chime in on that. I hadn't heard about that, and I know a few people that get, you know, they get help to get their. Actually, I had an Air Force veteran recently that got help to get her rating up to 100%. So yeah, I hadn't heard that they weren't allowing it.
I think it's pretty neat though that they decided to ban anybody who's accredited for charging veterans to help with the VA disability. I think it's pretty neat. So
Yeah, I think
So
if that is true, then yeah, I definitely agree with that.
But they're
this
still
goes back to
allowing
what the VFW was. Go ahead, Kenny.
yeah, they're still allowing the accredited ones to, take payment and back pay and everything else, just not the unaccredited one. So
Mm.
Yeah, this has been a big lobby for the National VFW over the last 3 years, is to get what they call the claim sharks out of the water, and it's a huge push for the Texas VFW. And a lot of times when you're talking about actual claims, there's so many VSOs that are associated with the VA webpage that they want you to go there. And I have people that text me in, and it's fairly easy in the Houston area, at least, because we're a huge hospital here, a VA hospital here in Houston, but it's fairly easy to get some of those resources here. But I'm glad that they're cutting the claim sharks out, because paying $5,500 a lump sum amount of money when you're getting $1,000 a month, that doesn't sound fair.
Or a certain percentage of your back pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Gunny Deeds, what do you got going on up there in your neck of the woods, sir?
Warrior Weekend next weekend, dude. We got I think 25 wounded veterans coming in. So those with Purple Hearts, post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury. I do know we have one fallen law enforcement family coming in. And I think we have 7 or 8 Gold Star families coming in. And then, of course, each one of those family has an ambassador tied to them. So we're looking at somewhere between 80, 90 guests, plus the team being there. And then whoever comes in as alumni to help and volunteer throughout the weekend. And, of course, I mentioned it earlier, we got the Mogadishu Mile. So that's still planning. So October 3rd this year. I'm hoping to break 50 teams this year. I had 48 last year. But yeah, we got that. And then, of course, everything going on with the team. So, selection assessment this weekend. And then I'm out the door pretty much every weekend the rest of the year.
Heck yeah. Now, I'm super excited about this year's Moog Mile. It's Tim Thomas says, read the comments, Gunny, the private comments. So I'm going to go to Warrior Weekend with you. I'm leaving. I think I'm leaving on Friday. I think you're leaving on. Well, are you leaving on Thursday?
I'm up there Thursday. Yeah. That's when Thursday when the new group starts to arrive. Wednesday, the alumni and ambassadors will come in, But yeah, Tim, I saw your comment over there. So a Gold Star family here in the United States is a family that lost a loved one during combat or training. There's also the White Star family, which is those who uh, lost their battle with their demons while they're on active duty. And then there's an initiative right now going through either Gold Star, Red Star, or sorry, Green Star or Red Star, and those are veterans who took their lives while they, after they got out. Um,
Thanks for explaining that. I hadn't heard that before, and it's a great acknowledgement. And yeah, no,
All right, who's typing? I can hear somebody typing. So yeah, so what I got going on, so September 17th through the 20th, I have the Vietnam Traveling Wall coming through with the Cost of Freedom tribute coming through Mount Washington, Kentucky. So it'd be set up. So the escort's the 16th. Then we're going to set it up that night, and then it'll be open to the public on the 17th, and it'll be open 24 hours a day while it's here. So I'm super excited. We had it 2 years ago in Shepherdsville, and to hear the stories of these Vietnam vets that come up to the wall, just to hear their stories. It's so humbling, just to hear their stories. I hear a lot of
that sounds kind of funny. Like, the old radio chatter. Someone's just put their hot miking on, and you call it hot miking when the
Oh yeah,
when the call-
yeah.
Well, it reminded me of that the frog. Crazy ass frog thing back in the day.
in the middle of a contact, someone's hot micing. Can't find my bayonet.
There we go.
But you got
but
the
yeah,
car show this weekend too, right?
Yes. So this weekend we have the Marine Corps Toys for Tots car show. I actually just got asked to be the DJ and the MC for the event. I'm super excited to go up there and participate with Marine Corps League Detachment 721 out of Louisville, Kentucky. And so I think this is like the 5th, 6th, 7th year. I can't remember. I'd have to look at the flyer again to see. But I think they're expected maybe over 200 cars there and bikes as well. And all the money will go to the Toys for Tots program to help, get toys for our local area, which they serve. They serve quite a big area.
They do more than just Jeff County.
Yes, yeah, they do the surrounding counties. They do some rural counties as well. So it's actually a pretty big area for them to undertake at one detachment here. But Captain Evans, he is the one that's spearheading it, and I tell you what, he's locked in for a Marine captain. He's very locked in. We've had him on the show a couple times, and he's just an all around good guy. And he really genuinely cares, because it started, when he first got involved, he started doing like the Boys and Girls Club, and doing the Bikes or Bust, which is another event that is coming up in November, I believe, where we have the community comes and donates bikes. So that'll be going on. Then of course we got our Boxes of Love event, and then of course the Moog Miles coming up as well. So there's a lot of things going on veteran related here in Kentucky, and I'm super excited for all of it that's going on. And I try to touch bases with everybody that's here that's doing things. So there's a lot of great nonprofits here too. So all right, so I just saw this headline. South Carolina military base to be renamed after Senator Lindsey Graham. What do you guys think about that?
Which base?
I know, I'm looking right now. Joint Base Charleston is going to be renamed.
So the Air Force base down there, Air Force Army base that's down there.
Yeah.
Well, he
'Cause
he
he
served
served
for
yeah,
like
like
30 years
25, 30 years, yeah.
in the Air Force International Guard, like
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah, so it said Graham spent 33 years in the Air Force as an active duty staff judge advocate, a South Carolina Air National Guard officer, and a senior lawyer in the Air Force Reserve. So yeah, he 33 years of service.
So yeah, he was active, Air Guard and the Reserve. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's pretty neat. Because he loved South Carolina. You could tell you could tell just by him talking how much he loved the state of South Carolina.
Yeah.
Because I think he was born and raised in South Carolina as well, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, Central South Carolina, yeah. So I think it's pretty neat that they're gonna rename a base after him. I think it it's sad that it happened after he passed, but yet a lot of those things like that happen, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of like when, well, the situation is a little bit different with Woody when he had the ship named after him. He was able to see that. And I think at the time he was the only living, I forget
Yeah,
what they call it.
Barnum's the only one right now, I think. Colonel Barnum.
Yeah, that had a ship named after him at the time. Yeah. So, all right. What else y'all want to talk about?
What about the thing we talked about last night on the podcast? And we talked about it a little bit before we went on air. The USAA.
I'm bringing it up now.
There, yep.
I'd like to hear about Sonia's book more.
Yeah. So it's the National Military Monument. USA has two, and I don't know how long they're going to be there. They're in DC. They're at on the bottom of the platform. Oh, geez, it's not very long. It's at the bottom of the platform by Lincoln, and it's two American flags, and it's digital, and you'll have the names of every serviceman or woman scrolling on this flag. And then if you go to search a service member, you can type in the name, and then if you're there, you can present this code to one of the USA members, and they will bring up your name specifically on an end cap, and it'll look just like that, and you can have your photo taken with your name on the end cap. If you can't make it to DC, do what Willis just did there, and you can take a screenshot of that or share it. But I've looked at everybody in my family that served, and it'll say, name is on the monument, or it won't have a check mark, and you can add their name to the monument. It's very quick and easy to do.
Yeah, and then if you are there, you can give them your code here, and then they'll take you there watch it when it comes up. So I think it's pretty neat that they're doing something like that. All right, Miss Sonia, you want to talk about your book a little bit? I know we've talked about it, me and Gunny and you, or me. Were you? Yeah, I think.
Nope, I was in Europe.
Yeah, all right. So I know me and you have talked about it, Sonia, but I don't think Travis knows about your book.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember I talked about it a bit when I was on the podcast with you. Yeah, so it's really it's called I've Got Me, and the subtitle is Healing the Nervous System, Building Secure Attachment, and Coming Home to Yourself. Because it's really about just like shedding all of the things that aren't us, that aren't truly us, which is like the basically all the survival strategies that we've accumulated over the years from childhood through the military, all of those different things. And there's a way to like rewire the body to be able to actually bring your body back into more of a secure attachment than like, because a lot of people have attachment styles such as like anxious attachment style or avoidant attachment style or disorganized. And there's a few books out there that kind of talk about different attachment styles and which one you might identify with more. But this book is about actually being able to rewire from any of those attachment styles into a secure attachment style. Because I've been able to personally rewire myself from a anxious attachment style into a secure attachment style, and it just even makes a difference in your relationships, whether it's kids, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, or just in the dating phase. It makes a difference in a lot of your relationships, basically. And I know a lot of military members and veterans. This is something that's like needed because a lot of us are good at, getting the mission done. But when it comes to coming home, you know, that's where the hard the hard stuff is the relationships back at home. So yeah.
You know, Sonia, I'm listening to you talk. I was curious, in your experience in writing this book, what's the capability of the human body to heal itself if everything's aligned and you have the awareness?
Ooh, I love that question. So when your body is completely aligned back into because what happens is we're usually in the fight or flight mode.
Yep.
Because we're worried about bills, relationships, all these different fears, hypervigilant things that are coming up. But when we're actually able to consciously get ourselves out of these like cycles, it's possible. It takes a lot of time and effort, but it is possible because I've been able to do it. And you come into what's called like brain heart coherence. And so when your actual brain is coherent with your heart, your body has the capability to heal itself from anything. Like the reason we get diseases in our body is because we have a lot of suppressed emotion that we store in our bodies. And when we're actually able to like let it out properly and like feel our emotions and why we feel the way we feel. This is all like emotional intelligence stuff that I've been learning in my classes. I've taken like emotional intelligence, social intelligence. And when we're able to get more in tune with ourselves, why we do the things we do, understand ourselves with a compassionate lens instead of judging ourselves, then we're able to actually like heal ourselves of a lot of different things. Like my body, personally, when I was in the Marine Corps still, which was like 3 years ago, my body was so tight and tense. I had just learned to just push through it. And I was just like, I was able to be a very functional Marine. And I was doing, I was one of the females that was like kind of paving the way, like doing pull-ups and all these different things. But my body was just, it took a toll. But now 3 years later, and I could say that for the last year and a half, I've been in brain heart coherence. My body feels so much better. Like I'm able to do more. I feel like I'm able to do more in a more healthy way because of how I've been able to kind of heal the nervous system. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. And I'm coming from perspective. So, I watched. There's a time in the VA where they would just hand veterans briefcases full of pills. Literally, I watched it personally, and they're starting to get away from that, right? And then, just in the civilian world with oxycodone and stuff like that, and other things for anxiety, they treat the symptoms and not the root cause of it. And so I'm very leery, especially with what I'm learning about how COVID was handled, to trust, oh yeah, just take a pill. Just take this pill. Oh, you need this pill to counteract the effects of this pill. When I think that we're a lot more awesome than we're led to believe.
Could I chime in there?
Sure, absolutely.
Firstly, Sonia, with what you're doing there, I want to acknowledge you for the journey you've been on, and you're paving a way for so many people. When I talk to veterans, you might not think you're special, but I bet you've been through some shit, and it's our job to turn shit in a fertilizer, not to live in it, but to turn it into fertilizer, you know, and it might have taken you, you know, however many years to make that, because it's there to make us grow, you know. And, you know, Travis, to answer your question, we are equal parts. The amount that we can destroy ourselves and damage ourselves and cause diseases, there's the equal and opposite, our ability to heal. And a lot of that is just removing the blockages we've got inside of us. Now, it's quite unique, the veteran space, because the archetype we mainly occupy is in the warrior space. All right. And every archetype has a thing they need to do to get to become a sovereign and mature form of themselves. But with warriors, you can't just walk up and say, take off your armor and be vulnerable, because they're like, fuck that. You know, I dropped my armor once, something bad happened. It's my fault. I'll never let that happen again. So, you know, the step down for the warrior is don't take your armor off. Work on just being gentle with yourself, being gentle with others, and maybe stopping and looking at something beautiful. So when I'm working with guys, I say, listen, just once a week, take a photograph of something you think is beautiful. And usually it turns into more than once, but it's an unspoken realm why there's so much good stuff out there, and we don't let ourselves allow it, or we don't come home to ourselves, because there's a few things that need to be addressed. One of which is our own reluctance to take the armor off, because we're protectors. We think the village is going to get hurt if we take the armor off. So I'm not just protecting it for me. I feel like if I'm vulnerable, I'm going to let bad things happen to people I care about. And that's all in the unspoken realm. We don't actually say this out loud. And when it comes to pills, if you think of the brain, you're in your fight or flight, you're in your amygdala. That's fast but dumb. Fast and needed. Like if there's a bomb goes off, you've got your drills and your body just does stuff without even thinking. But if you're in that for too long, it cooks you. You get fatigued. Everything becomes a threat, because that's what the amygdala does. And going from your amygdala into, or your fight or flight, into your what's called your prefrontal cortex, your executive function, the journey is blocked by what I've seen, two things, and Sonia said it quite well: nervous system dysregulation. So what does that look like in veterans worlds? Every fucker I see down the street, I want to punch in the face, and I'm not sleeping, and I'm pouring alcohol over everything, and all my personal relationships are breaking down, and it's somehow everyone else's fault. Okay. Yep. So I've had a lot of success from that movement between the isolation people feel. Breaking the isolation is the first thing that needs to happen. Feeling like, you know, the first part of the veteran journey is often them saying, fuck, I thought I was the only one, you know? So when Sonia shared her story, there'd be so many other people going, yeah, fuck, I thought I was the only one. And that's the first thing that needs to happen, I've found. And then I found it restoring the nervous system. I put it towards getting them out of fatigue. That's the words I use. And you can pour all the drugs you want on someone's fight or flight response, and all you're doing is just dampening the impact they have on those around them. It's not actually addressing that core question. And as someone who lost about 6 years of his life to pills, I didn't know simple breath work was something that was a thing. You know, no one told me about that. And so what I'm trying to say here is we do have the ability to heal ourselves, but we have an ability to harm ourselves, and we often don't know we're doing it. Often we do it with the best intentions, because we feel like if we have to maintain the armor, we have to maintain this vigilant state, because we feel the people we care about will somehow be impacted by that if we dropped our guard.
Yeah. So there's a question from Doc in chat over here. That Sonia, do you feel like it's something you constantly have to work on with all the information overload we are exposed to, or is it just cool and easy all the time now?
So So for me, what has happened is once I've been able to at least rewire the fact that, like, okay, I know when I'm going into a fear loop, or I know when I'm going into a pattern that is like, because I've learned my patterns. They're subconscious patterns, so if I didn't know I was doing these for the longest time. And now I'm aware of these patterns. When I first started working with my patterns, I'd recognize them after I did it. And then just being aware of it, you're able to kind of start to see it. You start to, the next time you catch it as you're doing it. And then the next time you're able to catch it before you do it. And you can take a deep breath, a conscious deep breath, and learn to make a different choice. And so when you start to make these different choices with your own patterns, um, that's how you can rewire into a secure attachment. And so for me, it took a lot more work at first, but once you rewire it, it's actually easy to, it's like now it's more of a habit to where I know what to do when it comes up. So it's always going to come up, but you get back into coherence a lot faster. You're not always in fight or flight. It's like it'll still come, but then you're like, okay, there, I know what to do now to get myself back into a regulated state where your body, because once your body goes into the parasympathetic, which is like rest and digest, then that's where your body's actually in the best environment to heal itself. Because I mean, it makes sense. It's like, okay, so our body heals from cuts, we break bones and it heals. So then why doesn't any of these other things heal? And it can heal. And I've seen miracles like cancer healing, all these other diseases that happen in the body that have been terminal. I've seen people able to come into like coherence and keep themselves, basically be able to keep bringing themselves back into it and actually heal from these so-called terminal diseases. So we are more powerful than we have been led to believe, as Ty had said.
And I think we're also more destructive than we've been led to believe, to our own health.
That too.
Oh yeah.
But
Sometimes we're
the
our
thing is,
own
it was
worst
passed
enemy.
down to us.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it was passed down to us, and they didn't realize. Our parents didn't realize they were doing it. So
So true. So true. Hopefully, Doc, that answered your questions there. Maurice, I want to talk to you real quick because we just had from service to self on the Homefront Sit Rep podcast. They also focus on the whole transitioning out of the military. So I don't know if you've ever heard of them on your end, but it's called From Service to Self. I think they would be a great fit for your podcast for sure. Um, so if you need their information, I can link you with Tamara and Walter. But I think they'd be a great fit for your podcast. Oh, it got real quiet. It got real quiet. Everybody's doing their own thing. Travis, are you working on a blanket? I knew it. I knew it. Did you get the era? How you said something about it? You had an error
Yeah,
in it.
yeah, and it's like 50 feet of yarn, start all over again. But it got through it. I make
Heck yeah.
mistakes.
Hey, we all make mistakes. That's for sure. All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to chit chat about?
Have you guys heard of the Coming Home Well Transitioning Warrior Outreach?
I have not.
I have not.
Okay, I know it's a big place over there. It's, when someone might hear you're in the army, they go, "Oh, I had a cousin in the army. You know him?" All right, I get it. It's a big place over there. But I just did a 7-part series with these guys titled "Fuck, I Thought I Was the Only One," right? And we got along so well, they're actually getting me over there in the San Antonio area in October to run a week of veteran and first responder focused workshops. So if any of y'all are in the area, I'd love to see you.
Where is this at? What part of the country?
San Antonio in Texas.
That's close to Ty Cobb. Close. And that's probably you're muted, Ty Cobb.
Yeah, I've looked. I'm looking it up right now. It's very interesting.
And then Doc here says she's close to San Antonio as well. And then over on TikTok, we got Service to Self over on the TikTok world. They're like, sign me up. So I'll get with them as well and see about getting them linked up with you, Mr. Tim Thomas. All right. It's about that time, ladies and gents. It's already been an hour already. I was hoping Rich LaMonica would join. He said he was going to possibly be late, but don't look like he made it tonight. So coming home well. There you go, Ty. I'll throw it up on the screen for you guys, for Mr. Tim Thomas and Ty. So there's the link right there. It's cominghomewell.com. Click on that and then go see Mr. Tim Thomas if you're close to the area in San Antonio.
Yeah, in October, I think 12th to the 17th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me know your flight information. I'll have to link up with you for that.
Yeah, roger that. No worries. I'm sure you've had plenty of Aussies couch surfing.
No. It'll be a first, but it'll be cool. I've got a couple Aussie patches. We'll have to trade some patches when you come.
Roger that.
Heck yeah. All right, ladies and gents. Thank you guys for coming on Tip the Spear, but you know how we always do it. Let's wrap it down. And we're going to start with my brother from another mother.
Oh, is that me? Hey, I appreciate it. I mean, I've been taking notes. I try to write down. You realize that when you get in your foxhole and you start, working on the things you're working on a lot of different stuff, but you also miss a lot of different stuff because you're in execute mode. So it's really good. I've taken a lot of notes about the Mogadishu Mile with Jay Mattingly, Maurice Murphy, Veteran SOS, Vets on Tap. I'm excited that Tim's going to be coming to San Antonio in October. So, and then I got to get you on our show as well. I love doing this. There is power in knowing your body and like all the breath work. I went from taking 10 or 11 pills a day with my spinal fusion and neck issues, pain pills, and I don't take any of them now. Like I barely even have to take Advil. And a lot of it has to do with just moving, doing body scans, and maybe doing yoga to get your flexibility. But I love what Sonia has to say, and I'm really interested for the last year or so in what Tim has to say. So again, I say this every week, but it's really fun to come together and see some of the great things that are going, and you really see how small of a world it is, as Julie Austin with Dog Tags to Ownership podcast, and she's a veteranpreneur. She's linked up with with Travis, and then I'm going to be talking to Travis about some other things here coming soon. So we are a very strong network, even though we may not check in every day. When we do come together, it's always good to hear what y'all got to share. Appreciate y'all.
Heck yeah. And now my other brother from another mother.
From an Aussie mother. Look, I want to give you something, just a little gift. A lot of these things are a little bit deeper than the words can reach. So if you're open to it, I'd love to give you a little breath work thing that you can do whenever you want. That'll bring you back to center. It is super, super easy. So if you're open to it, I invite you to breathe in, then breathe in more. Now hold it and just wriggle it up. Wriggle your arms, wriggle your spine, open up that chest, and then let out the loudest sigh ever.
Amen, brother. Mr. Travis, you're up.
Hey, tonight, other nights, the things that go on just remind me that, you're not alone and we are stronger together. And if we can all stay united, there's not anything that we can't do. So, and then last but not least, every voice matters and every voice can amplify something that is really important. So don't think you don't matter. You do. And, just keep doing what you're doing.
Amen. Amen. All right, sister from another mister.
All right, I guess that's me. Thank you for that, Tim. That was awesome. Um, I definitely, I mean, I guess the thing that I would say is, um, I wanted to mention it earlier, but the whole thing with the pills, yeah, I do like, I fully believe that pills it just numb you. I mean, I for the longest time I didn't really get into pills, but I drank alcohol. Like when I was in the Marine Corps, I drank too much, and I was just numbing all the stuff that I hadn't felt. And so I want you guys to know that true strength comes in actually being able to feel your emotions. And just a fun fact, when you cry tears, you're actually releasing cortisol, which cortisol is the stress hormone that is stored in your body. So teach yourself how to feel. This is some emotional intelligence right here. Teach yourself how to feel. Let let the emotions move through you how it's supposed to. All that movement and breath work, like that actually helps the body release, because animals are really the only well, animals know instinctively how to release stuck energy, and they always, after they come out of fight or flight mode, they tremor their bodies. So any type of movement, breath work, letting sounds out actually like really helps with that nervous system healing. And I know for some people it might sound like woo woo stuff, but it works. And another person to, I would say, Joe Dispenza. He's actually a guy that I have all his books. He was honestly the reason for my spiritual awakening that I had. And he had a fused spine. They told him he wasn't ever going to walk again, but he healed himself because he brought himself back into coherence. And now he heals like thousands of people. So look into Joe Dispenza. He's definitely one of the people I look to. So that's all I
Awesome.
got for tonight. And I love this. This is awesome. I love that you guys have this veterans like tip of the spear veterans get together so we can talk about all these different things.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, I'm gonna bring Ty back up real quick because he shared something. Did you share this, Ty?
Yeah, I mean, this. I was just trying to back up Sonia. Like everything she's talking about. This is J. Alberto Fight, licensed clinical social worker. I often say that he became a licensed clinical social worker because he had to serve with me. So, like all these things she's talking about, that stuff is real. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, and all these breath work and movements and the barbaric yop. That
Heck yeah.
these things work, man. Like, so yeah, I love it. I appreciate you, bro.
Hey, you're welcome. Let's remove that. Let me finish. I'm gonna go myself here. All right, ladies and gents, that's the tip of the spear for this month. What's up, Chris? How are you from Wisconsin? Hopefully, you guys are doing well up there. I just want to remind everybody, what am I doing here? That Jesus, this thing is doing some weird stuff. Anyway, here, you're not alone. Don't let your dark days win. And remember, in the silence of your struggles, remember, though unseen, you're deeply held in the hearts of others. You're not alone. The uniform may come off, but the bond remains. And somebody said this a while ago, and together we heal, together we rise, and together we carry each other forward. And then be someone stranger. Man, we talk about that all the time. Be someone stranger. What we mean by that is we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. So be someone stranger today. If you're out and about and you see somebody and it looks like they're having a bad day, go up to them and say, hey, how are you doing today? And if they give you the red flags, I'm okay, I'm hanging in there, I'm living a dream, ask the next hard question. How are you really doing? And be ready for that conversation. It could be an 8-minute conversation. It could be an 8-hour conversation. You have to be ready for that conversation. And then it takes a village. Look, ladies and gents, we have this little device right here that has all of our contacts in it. Mine has a little over 2,000 contacts in it. Go through your contacts, close your eyes, scroll through, and hit the button. That's your village, and see who you get, and call them. Say, hey, just checking in on you. You never know, you might save their life. But like we always say, stay safe out there. We got your six.